The Brooklyn Nets have to be the most disappointing team in the playoffs this year. After having a regular season filled with controversy, they were given the benefit of the doubt, and most people had them as the favorites to make it out the Eastern Conference, or at least the favorites to make it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, yet they ended up getting swept in the first round. This has led me to make this video where I'll be discussing some questions that the Brooklyn Nets need to answer in this year's offseason to improve as a team going forward. Before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, you want to go over 3,000 subscribers. Also, drop a comment on this video. I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro. First question the Brooklyn Nets have to answer going into this year's offseason is, what does the future hold for their star player in Kyrie Irving? We all know he caused a lot, and I mean a lot of drama with this team during the regular season, with him not wanting to get vaccinated, which led to him not being able to play any home games. And I know he missed the first half of the season, and even though that ended up not being that big of a deal because in the playoffs he was eligible to play road and away games, nonetheless that definitely was a huge problem for the team. It was probably more of a negative than a positive. He's been more of a negative than a positive that season. But I'm not saying that Kyrie was wrong to do what he does, because he could do whatever he wants. But the team definitely has the right to consider moving him, because he's clearly a guy who has off the court issues and makes a lot of drama for your team. And he wasn't even that good in the playoffs. And you guys just got swept with him being healthy all of the games. So it's clear your roster definitely has to improve a little bit more. And outside of Kevin Durant, he's the best trade piece, and it actually makes some type of sense to trade him. I believe he could be a free agent this season, so they could look into doing sign-and trades with him. And just straight up, even though Kyrie has a lot of off-court issues, it's friggin' Kyrie Irving. A lot of teams are willing to give up a lot for him. You could really improve your roster, or maybe even trade him for another star. I doubt another team would want to trade a star for him, especially since he doesn't look like he's fully invested in the NBA. But you could definitely get a lot of really good role players, exactly where this team needs some defensive pieces. Because if we're being honest, their biggest problem is defense. On offense, they're okay, but defensively, they're just absolutely embarrassing. They're not going to win a championship at this level. Some teams that I think Kyrie could maybe get traded to is a team like the Lakers, not because they have a bunch of assets. They're just always in that conversation. Chicago wouldn't be a bad option. Also, a team like the Mavericks, maybe. I don't know how that would work. But regardless, I'm not saying Kyrie Irving should get moved, because he is a great player, but I'm just saying it has to at least be considered. The next question the Brooklyn Nets have to answer is who stays and who goes in free agency. If you didn't know, most of the Brooklyn Nets roster will be a free agent in this upcoming free agency. A lot of the key important players too. To name some of the players, there's LaMarcus Aldridge, Bruce Brown Jr., Nicholas Claxton, Goran Dragic, Kyrie, and Patty Mills. That's a lot of key rotational players who are going to be in free agency for them last year. And to be honest, I don't think them keeping LaMarcus Aldridge is that important. He didn't even play for them in the playoffs. He's probably just going to retire this offseason. He doesn't give them that much, although I do think he should have been given a chance in the playoffs. They definitely have to bring back Bruce Brown Jr. He's their second or best defender, easily their best perimeter defender. Without him, they have no good perimeter defenders, so they definitely have to bring him back. I think they will, because even though they don't have that much money left to spend, he's a guy who's not going to ask for more than $10 million. I think they have to bring back Nicholas Claxton as well, because he's just a good defensive center who can improve in the future. I think they'll definitely be able to bring him back, because he's not asking for more than $10 million, and they have his bird rights. Sometimes Nicholas Claxton sucks, but I think he has potential. We saw in that game before, he could bring some energy to this team, and maybe he's going to come back even better. No way they just let him walk for absolutely nothing. He's definitely a guy who's going to not get paid like crazy. Talk about Goran Dragic. Bringing him back is not a bad idea, since he was solid for them in the playoffs, and he could just help you out during the regular season, be a solid backup. When it comes to Patty Mills, they have to bring him back. He's one of the best shooters in the league. And when it comes to Kyrie, I already talked about Kyrie. He's a free agent this year. He could possibly return. I think he has a player option or something like that. If he does go to free agency, not gonna lie, that's gonna be bad. But they just can't let Kyrie walk for nothing. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, that's the question the Nets definitely have to answer, because so much of their roster is going into free agency, and they won't be able to bring back all of them, but they gotta bring back some of them. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know what you think the Nets need to answer this offseason. Drop a like on this video to help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you want us to go over 3,000 subscribers, also drop a comment on this video. I do respond to all of my comments, and play that intro.